class, today we're going to be practicing what we learned yesterday about charts. I hope you guys remember that charts are when we take information that we've learned and we set them up in a way that's easy to read and record. Now today we're going to be making a bar chart or a bar graph. We're going to be graphing in lines. We're going to use different heights of lines to show how we have our fruit snacks. So everybody on their desk should have a package of fruit snacks and should have this sheet of paper that we're going to make our chart on. Now we're actually going to be practicing the two different kinds of charts today that we've learned about. We've learned about real world charts or graphs where we use actual objects to make a chart or a graph with, and then we're going to be actually drawing one. So I want you guys to take out your fruit snacks and you're going to open them up. And don't pour them out just yet, just get it open. And what you need to do is you need to take your sheet of paper, the one I gave you, you need to lay it out right in front of you. And I'm going to show you what mine looks like as I'm doing this. So I have my piece of paper right here that has red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Those are going to be the colors that we're going to be learning about today. Or we're going to be using today as we make our graph. So you can go ahead and pour out your fruit snacks on your table, and I'll give you a second to go ahead and set those up. I want you to get them all separated, so I'll give you just a second to separate all your fruit snacks into different piles. Okay, you should have all of your fruit snacks all separated out now. Now we're going to look at what we have. Now everyone's graph is going to be a little bit different because all of our packages of fruit snacks have different things in them. So you're going to try to find the corresponding color or the color that goes with what you have. So I'm going to put all my orange fruit snacks by the word orange, all the red by the red, the blue by the blue, the yellow by the yellow, the purple by the purple, and the green by the green. So I have everything all organized. Now if you notice on this side of the graph, going down, we have different numbers. Now the numbers are going to stand for how many fruit snacks we have. So over here we know that we have red first. So I know I have one red fruit snack. So I'm going to look for the number 1 and look for the color red and see where they meet. They meet right here. So I'm going to put my one fruit snack right there on one red. Now I also have one orange fruit snack. So I'm going to find the number 1 again. Go across until I see where the orange meets the number 1. And I'm going to put my orange one right there. Now if I come over here, I see that I have 2 yellow fruit snacks. So I'm not going to use the number 1. I'm going to go up to number 2. And I'm going to go to the the color yellow, and I'm going to see where they meet up. They go right here. So I need to put one fruit snack here and one fruit snack here. Now another way we can do this is we can just build it up. So I can just take one fruit snack and put it in one square. Another fruit snack, put it in the other square for green. And I can make sure I have it right. So I know I have 2. Let me make sure I have 2. Yep. And I know I have it on green. So I can check it that way as well. I'm going to do the same thing with my blue ones. And now my purple. So you guys make sure you have all your fruit snacks where you think they're correct on your graph. Now, like I said, you might have 4 blue, or you might even have none of some color. If that's fine, just leave that place blank. And so I want you to make sure, check and make sure that if you have one of something, make sure it's lined up with the 1. If you have 2 of something, make sure it's lined up with the 2. And if you have 3 or 4 or 5 of something, just make sure it's lined up with the 3 or the 4 or the 5. Now make sure that your colors are all correct too. All the red should be with the red, the green should be with the green, and so on. So everybody double check all of the information. And one of the best things to do in math is to always go back and check your work. Okay, and so what we have created now is called an actual objects graph. This is a graph using actual objects. We've used real life things that we can touch and feel and move around to make our graph. Now, I'm sure you guys probably don't want to leave your fruit snacks on here all day. You want to eat them and take them home. You can't leave them. You can't even take this home. If I was to pick this up, they would all fall off. It'd be hard to keep this. So what we're going to do is turn this object or actual graph, we're going to turn this into a picture graph. Now how we're going to do this is you guys need to grab your crayons and your markers. And we are going to color our graph in so we can take these colors off. So I'm going to take off my red. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to put my red to the side. Now I know I have one red right here, and I need to remember the space it was in and double check. Okay, I had one red. It's on red. So I'm going to color that place in. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the orange. I know I had one orange. So I'm going to move my orange one now. And I'm going to color in that square. I'm going to do the same thing with my yellows. I see that I have two yellows right here. So I'm going to move my yellows off. Now I'm going to color in one square right here for the first yellow, and then one square right here for the second yellow. So I have two squares that are now colored in. See, two and then yellow, they meet up. So now I'm going to move these two green ones and do the same thing. I'm going to color in square one and square two in my graph. I also had two blues. So I'm going to use my two and my blue, and I'm going to color one square for one blue and one square for two blues. And finally, purple. I have one purple, and I'm going to color that in. Okay, so I want to give you guys just a second. Color in your graphs with all the right colors and the right numbers of colors, but still don't eat your fruit snacks just yet. Leave them right there because we need to double check and make sure that our picture graph matches our object graph. Okay, and once you're done, we're going to check and make sure we got all of our answers right. So we're going to put everything back on the squares we started with. Okay, and so when I do this, I can see that all my information is correct because every square I've colored in has the object on it. So I know that I got my graph correct. And so now that I know that my graph is perfectly correct with these objects that I have, I can take the objects off and know that my graph is still correct. Put them back in the bag for now. You can eat those later. We're going to put those back in the bag and eat those as a reward when we're done. And so this is now something we can keep and hold on to forever. If you were to go back in a year and go, how many fruit snacks did I eat on that day? You have a graph that's going to give us all that information. And there's one more thing I want you to do today. I want for you to look at this graph and you're going to analyze it. You're going to look at it and try to think of some sentences that have to do with the graph. So for example, you could say something like, I had more blue than red. I analyzed my graph. I looked at some information on my graph and I made a statement using some math terms like more to describe the information on the graph. You could also say something like, I had the same red and orange. That would be another sentence describing what's on here. So I want you guys to think of some sentences. Think of two sentences that are going to describe the information in your graph. Don't describe all the information in your graph, but just I want to see if you know how to analyze it and look at the information that you have. And then once you're done with that, I want you to come show me your paper. Make sure you write your name at the top so I know that it's yours. And once you show me your paper and I've checked it, you can go ahead and you can eat your fruit snacks, okay? So you guys practice that. I'm going to walk around and check you guys' work, all right? Good job.